Hello everyone, welcome to TechMeUp. Today we are going to talk about the GenAI activities which are presented by UiPath, and along with that we will try to explore the new features of the unified build of apps. We'll try to create one chatbot application which should be created in a small amount of time, and for that we are going to utilize the GenAI activities. So I'll quickly take you to the integration services where we can look at the GenAI activities. So if I just search over here for GenAI activities, this is the connection that we have to utilize, and the activities are here as below. So there are a few which we are going to utilize today in our demo. One is the index and ingest, which is like the feature, the main purpose of this particular activity would be it should be able to create a database with whatever data you are giving to it. It will take that data, index it up, and it will store it so that it would be easier to search for it. The next activity which we are going to be using is this content generation activity, wherein like we can provide some prompt to the system, and the prompt basis on the data that we have provided using the index and ingest functionality would return it to us, and like it would create a chart kind of sequence where like you can question it again back and forth and you will get your answers. So to begin with it, first thing that we need to do is we just will click on this connect to UiPath GenAI activities, and then you just need to click on the connect button and your integration would be created. And we should be able to see it. Where is it? Yep, there it is. So we are able to see the connection over here. Now we can head over to our web studio where we are going to build the app. So to go there, you can just click on these buttons over here, click on the studio, and your page would be loaded up. Once you're on this particular page, you need to click on the down arrow button over here beside new project, create the new web app project. Once it would be loaded, you can just work it out as a normal app project. So you can select the template and then drag and drop whatever you want, and then the logic part would be a bit different here. So instead of creating events, we would be creating workflows which would have all the logic, and it makes us easy to understand as well. So for the time being, I'll select this form D from here, and let's try to edit a few elements up. So instead of app name, I'll say it Q&A bot. Instead of form header, maybe for now, if we are gonna be working on something called as Uno rules, I can go here and we can delete the other functionalities or other input labels, and this we can rename it as question. Sorry. And we will make it as required true. Custom error message as please enter question. Okay, and right below it, right now we can use one label over here. So toolbox, display, and label. There it is, and now we can click here, name it as answer, style it as bold, a bit bigger font, and that would be it. Instead of label, we will give it some value over there. So for now, let's do it like this. Create a variable called answer, give it text value, and herein we would be displaying answer. So the person would be logging into this application, they would go and write the question over here, and once the processing is done, it would create uh, it will generate an answer, and that particular answer would be written in this particular section. And for the sake, I'll add one line as well, divider, so that it's a bit segregated. Now let's move to the submit button. Previously what we used to do is, like, we used to create the rules over here, and then only we were able to process anything, like maybe trigger a process or trigger a workflow. But right now what we'll do is we'll define the automation right here inside the app studio itself. Okay, so let's click here, and then let me rename the app, so we can rename it as rulebot. Okay, now in here what we can do is, firstly we'll click here. What we need, we would need one generate text activity, but prior to generation, what we would need is, we need to first ingest the data into the database as well. So let's go back to our form. I'll create a copy of this button, call it as ingest button. Let's name it as ingest. Upload. Now for the ingest button, let's figure out its logic. So we'll go to events, we'll define an automation. Also, prior to that, what we need to do is, we need to go to the orchestrator, and so whatever data that we are going to ingest has to be kept inside the orchestrator, inside the storage bucket, so that it can fetch that data out and create indexes based on that. So what we'll do is, we'll go to the shared folder, we'll go to storage buckets. I'll create a new storage bucket called as Uno rules. Maybe I have already that one. So what I have done is, I just have created one Uno rules named storage bucket, and I've uploaded one file in here, Uno rules, and I'll refer this particular storage bucket itself in my logic. So let's go here, click here, ingest. Okay, so from now onwards, you can refer to your connection from here. So we'll go to the shared box, and the one that we have created is, I guess, #2. So we'll refer this. The orchestrator folder is going to be shared. The bucket is going to be Uno rules. Once this is done, next thing that we can do is index name that we can provide from here. So I'll give Uno rules, or for the sake of it, let's not confuse it, rules. The type of the files are gonna be PDF, and we'll get the data out of it. Okay. And let's do one more thing, show message. Ingestion in progress. Please wait for a few minutes, for a few seconds before querying data. And we can also use this spinner visibility, and here I'll set it as false. Ingestion in progress. Ingestion completed. Now the app message is also there, index and ingest functionality is also there. What we can do is we can focus on the submit button, where we will question it and then get the answer out of it. So I'll create a submit button. Submit is already written. Let's edit the automation over here. But prior to that, we shall go ahead and test the indexing functionality in. Okay. So let's give it a try. I'll click on this test button, which would bundle the project, and then later on it will launch it as well. It's taking some time. It's the first launch of this particular project, so sometime it does. Now let's click on the ingest button, and as it is running, it's also gonna generate some logs at the back end. While you are developing it, you can check them as well. So that is done. Now if I go to my logic for the submit button, let's try this. Let's first stop the bot. Here if I use the generate chat, or maybe we should search for GenAI content generation. Let's go to our hash 2 model. I can select 3.5 turbo itself. Here we can select the prompt, so that would be coming from the input button. But prior to that, let's check first whether we have that index available or not. So context grounding, yes, we have done that. So we'll select existing index over here. The index name, let's force refresh it. There we go. We have our index created and we can query it as well. Now, in every such RAG mechanism or any product that we are going to build using these GenAI activities, we would have to provide a system prompt which would help the bot. Okay, so I'll go to this particular section, and in here, let's say you are an expert on Uno game, and you can give out the details about the rules if you find something from the index, else just reply back saying that you don't have the information. So this is my system prompt, and here is a general prompt which we can use. Okay, now the results of this particular activity would be given out in this top generated text variable. Okay, and here we need to give the prompt, else it would be erroring out. So right now I'll just give some double quotes because we have to get the app value as well. So get apps value. Apps expression could be written as form 4060 dot question dot value. So whatever value is coming, which we can fetch it over here, and we here can create a variable question put, and we can create it. Also from the data manager, the question type, expand it, set it as text. So this question can now be passed over here. So here, use variable question. Value that we are going to enter in the form is going to come here as question. Question would be passed here, and then later set apps value, item to set as answer, and the value that we need is top generated text. Sorry. So this way you get your input from here, process it, and then give it out. And I'll add some spinners here so that the person doesn't feel like that the app is broken. Querying data. And the spinner should be removed here. Okay, now let's go back to our form. What I'll do is I'll get this left pane a bit smaller. Where's the size? So let's make it 30% and the right one as 70. Okay, now let's try to run it. Oh, sorry. So prior to this particular AI approach, the GenAI approach, how a chatbot was built is like you have to provide some intents in which you would be mentioning out the types of responses or types of requests the person might be giving in. So for example, where is my package in terms of logistics use case? So where is my package, when it would be delivered, can you track my parcel or courier, something like that. So the people would be giving any kind of question to it, and then we have to map it to a certain process, like what it has to do. And that's how the intent and responses were being configured over there. Let me refresh the app page once. Now let's click on test. building now. So let's try it with, can we use a draw 4 card over another draw 4? So it will run the particular XAML and it's gonna give you an answer basis on the rule book that you have given. Now let's say another question, can we play a draw 6 card, which is not a legal card in Uno. So let's see what it does, what it says. Can we play a draw 6 card over a normal number card? See, can we play snakes and ladder? So it would be able to give the answers that it has on the basis of your data that you have ingested inside your storage bucket, you kept inside the storage bucket and ingested into the database. So that's how you can use this RAG functionality, and then like it can give you answers out of it. And in the further video or the next video that I would be creating, what we can do is like, uh, currently our app is targeted to only run on one particular set of documents. So right now it's just a playroom for us that I'm experimenting. But what could be done is like, let's say inside your organization, if you have two different departments or one single department, but they have certain different set of tasks. So one could be querying some purchase orders and getting the details out of it. The second one might be having some standard rule book, what we can do, what we cannot. So the person should have the capability to select what kind of answering mechanism or what kind of set of documents that they want to refer. Some details related to POs or some details related to general organization stuff. So two indexes in a single app, and we can select which one we want to query it up and then run it. So for that particular thing, we'll build some other functionalities in this particular app itself, and then let's see how we can play around with it. I hope that you have got a fair idea how we can utilize the GenAI activities, how you have to use the index and ingest activity and content generation activity, how you can pass along the controls between the app and the studio workflows inside the unified build experience right now. I hope it's gonna be simplified in the future, I hope, but let's stay positive and let's try to build something up. Let me know how you felt this particular example like, and if you want me to develop something specific, that you can give me some ideas on it, and I surely would try to accommodate that. Thank you and have a nice day.